What did the Emperor say when he lost his castle? It's just not my forte. What's going on, YouTube? It's the weekend. We're inside the Hollow City, inside of Cold Harbor, to go over our first of two weekend vendors. Now, we start with the luxury furnishing vendor for a couple reasons. One, we talk about them to think to ourselves, are any of these things cool? Do I want to put this in my own home? And the second reason is will any of these things retain enough value to where I can sell them in the future for, a bit of profit? And this one's unique because we continue with our Halloween-esque theme, unless you guys are really into some specific things. I won't judge. But honestly, 1,000 gold for a wheelbarrow of bones could be pretty good for some Halloween decorations, even with sarcophaguses. 3,500, 4,500. These are pretty decently priced. I would avoid these two golden ones unless you want to use them for yourself. But overall, it's a pretty nominal weekend. It's very thematic. So if you're looking for Halloween items, you're probably very excited. If you think that spooky season is a bit overrated and you're ready to, start listening to Christmas music already, this week's probably not for you. And before we jump into our traditional golden vendor here, who we're going to find at our northern High Rock Gate inside of Cyrodiil, just a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you wouldn't mind, but let's jump into it. And from Tempest Island, restart with the Jolting set. When you block your charge arms, increase your physical and spell resistance by 4620 for 6 seconds, and cause your next bash attack to deal an additional 3513 damage. This can occur once every 6 seconds. This is interesting because I was going through a lot of the defensive sets that people use for Cyrodiil because, as you know, a lot of them were nerfed, a lot of them were tweaked. Some of them that used to be good, like Iron Blood, are absolutely hot garbage right now. And this was a set that I saw people using because you could backbar it, and then you could take then the unnamed physical and spell resistance buff to your front bar. You could deal additional bash damage to people. So this is actually a decent PvP defensive set because it's unnamed. It'll stack with everything else that gives you physical and spell resistance. It's certainly an okay set. I'm doing my video right now where I rank the best defensive sets. This probably does make the top 10, but that also doesn't say a whole lot because there's not necessarily that many good defensive sets. But it is something that you could consider, and there are people who love to be able to do bash damage to players inside of Cyrodiil, and this will also cause you to deal tremendous amount of bash damage, and it gives you health, armor, which is a pretty good 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, this is only going to be a Cyrodiil-esque set, so if you think you might want to use this for PvP, that's going to be your go-to for this. Next up is a fun set because it's Savar Scales. This actually comes from Bane's Heists. When you deal damage, you cause a burst of Laminous Poison that deals 575 poison damage in a 5-meter radius, and an additional 554 poison damage over 6 seconds to all enemies hit. This can occur once every 7 seconds. Also, its 4 reduces your damage taken by guards by 20%. I don't know why. I know that it comes from Bane, but it still gives you a traditional health stam mag. This is a decent set that people were using for PvP. People enjoyed the poisoniousness of it. This used to be a pretty popular Dragon Knight set, but the problem is that it's really been kind of outshined in more recent years. It's very annoying to get because, as you can imagine, if heists is your only way to get jewelry, this is pretty painful. So you used to actually be able to buy this set and resell it. There is still a decent market for this set, but overall the set itself is not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. So I wouldn't recommend using this set. There's certainly ways that you could build it into either a Dragon Knight or some sort of poison build. But I think that it just gets outclassed by some of the more recent additions to sets that have come out. If you wanted to try to resell it, you may have some success because there's quite a few people that are still selling, David, that still sell Savar Scales pretty regularly on the open market just because of how rare it is to actually see it on there. Next up is the Necklace of the Lich. When you cast an ability that costs resources while under 33% Magicka while in combat, your Magicka recovery is increased by 1106 for 20 seconds. This can occur once every minute. Now, this is just arguably not a good set. The power creep that this used to be a decent set for people as a sustain set is crazy. But if you needed a good sustain set, you can use Roxas. You can use pretty much anything else in the game. This is just arguably not very good. 1106 Magicka recovery for your kind of 5-piece bonus is not very good. The fact that you have to be under 33% Magicka to get it is not very good. And the fact that essentially there's a 40-second downtime is also not very good. So this is a relic of the Magicka past. Next up, we have Necklace of the Word Tree, which actually comes from Glenumbra. When you cast a Magicka ability, you remove all the negative effects from yourself. This can occur once every 15 seconds. This is arguably actually a really good PvP set that a lot of people are sleeping on. Now, I wouldn't necessarily buy this gold because here's the fun fact. Do you notice what it is as a golden ability? It's going to be the 5-piece of this is going to be the same if it's white or gold. So I would not necessarily take the time to over-invest in it. But this is essentially what Mara's Balm used to be. You just 3-piece the front bar, have it 5-piece when you're on your back bar, cast a Magicka ability, cleanse all those negative effects, and you're pretty hunky-dory. This is a pretty good set that a lot of people have switched to, and I can honestly say that it's pretty good for PvP, especially if you are more of a stamina character. I think that this is overall pretty good. Next up from Falkreath Hold, we have the Shoulders of Damios. Now, Damios is a very interesting one. When you deal damage, you create a 10-meter ring of molten earth around you for 10 seconds, which deals 295 flame damage and 310 physical damage every 1 second. Standing within the ring grants you 289 weapon and spell damage as an unnamed buff. This can occur once every 15 seconds, and it scales off your weapon or spell damage. Now, this set is actually pretty good for PvP, but it's not the best in slot for PvE. But here's how I look at this. If you, for 100,000 gold, can get something that's going to drastically increase your DPS output, and you're not going out and getting something like Zons, if you're not going out and getting something like the Harpooner's Weight and Kilt, if you don't have one of those, or if you're not able to get one of those, I think this is a perfect opportunity to pick up something for either 100,000 gold or 200,000 alliance points. And then probably tons of people are farming Falkreath Hold right now because it's the Undaunted Celebration event. So this is a great time to kind of up your DPS and kind of get you into a point where you probably are pretty comfortable going and doing even more DPS PvE content. Even though this is not the best, PvE DPS set, I think it's easily within the top 5. And sometimes just being in the top 5 is all you need. And the next set is Grothdar. Now, Grothdar, when you deal damage to an enemy within 8 meters, you have a 10% chance to create lava pools that swirl around you, dealing some flame damage to all enemies, etc., etc. Now, this comes from Vaults of Madness. Now, this is a decent PvE set if you have no DLCs, essentially. So this is a more unique option. I think that this set is okay. It does decent. It will decently increase your DPS output if you don't have access to DLCs. This is a great shoulder you can get because then you can go do the helmet and it won't cost you having to buy any DLC packs. Overall, it's not the best, but again, it's probably easily within the top 5 or top 10 PvE DPS monster sets. Slap this on, put it with your other 2 5-piece sets that you're grinding right now during the Undaunted Celebration event, you'll be hunky-dory, ready to go. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. This has been our Friday vendor review. And again, these vendors go from Friday all the way until early Monday morning. So check out these items here. I don't know if there's anything that really excited me too much this week, but let me know what was the coolest item that you saw in the vendor this week in the comments below. Hopefully some of you guys find either the monster sets or some of the other 5-piece sets helpful to kind of expand your build. Or maybe you just want to get those Halloween decorations ready to rumble. So, thank you guys one last time. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below. Tell me what you're most excited about. Second thing is just be subscribed. And then if you want 2 additional entries to that drawing, follow on Twitch and Twitter. And the third thing is look for a hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to comment that word, you will win. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.